Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well and staying safe and healthy during these times. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be about what is enmeshment, what's enmeshment trauma, and how to get out of it. Enmeshment is a term that you might have come across in while researching about narcissistic relationships or narcissistic families. Enmeshment, the word basically means that you become like a part of something, right? You're so enmeshed in something that you become part of a greater whole. Um, and also it's kind of like a loss of your own identity, so you don't know where your boundary is and you don't know where the other person's boundary is, where you stop and where they begin. You if you don't know that, that means you're enmeshed within the other person. So if this concept comes up in love also a lot, in love relationships, where there's like this toxic idea of romance which has been like shown in a lot of films or like books and stuff like that, where it's kind of like two people have to become one and they have to become like enmeshed within each other, which is okay. Like it's a romantic philosophical concept, but it's not very practical, right? Because on a practical plane, everyone has an ego, and every human being has their different egos, and every ego has a particular boundary, the things that they are comfortable with, the things that they like, the things they don't like. Um, so so romantically it's okay, or philosophically in fiction it's okay, but when it actually starts happening in your practical life, after a point it becomes a little bit too much for the party that is the more submissive one. Because when two people become one, it's always like the dominating force is going to take up more space, and then the person who's not so dominating has to kind of put up with the dominating factor. So really, if both the people are in complete harmony and balance with each other, then they can stay their own separate people and still be together. But that's a very idealized case of enmeshment. Usually enmeshment happens in narcissistic situations when a person doesn't allow the other person to be their own individual ego. And it happens a lot in narcissistic families which are cult like, or spiritual groups which are cult like, or in a romantic relationship where one person has a more dominating personality than the other person. Um, so what happens is the dominating factor or the narcissistic family or cult will tell this individual what to think, what to feel, how to be, how to behave, everything. So they are not allowing this ego to be who it wants to be. The ego is not in flow, and it's not in the cosmic flow anymore. Because according to the cosmic flow, every ego is unique, every ego is different, right? Um, but there are similarities. It's not like everyone is totally different, but everyone has their nuances. So in enmeshment, the nuances, or it's not allowed for the ego to be anything other than part of this group that they are a part of, right? So that is called as enmeshment. And it often happens when a child has had an anxious, preoccupied style of attachment, where the parents are overparenting, or they are really involved in the child's life, or where they think all the choices that the child makes have to be their choices. The child never gets a chance to choose. Um, if they choose something, they are either criticized for it or put down for it, or just somehow it is proven that their choice is not good. So there's no agreement with the choice that the child is making. And all of these things causes the child to kind of question themselves that, oh, am I doing it right? And so there's a gray area here, because a part of the parent's job is parenting the child, but there are some areas where the child needs to be given choice, free choice to do whatever they want. But in in cases of narcissistic families, they give no choice to the kid. And so what this causes is, it causes the child to kind of doubt themselves. Whenever they have to take a decision in life, they doubt their decision. They look outside for external validation, like, if what am I if whatever I'm doing, is it right? Can I do it? Am I making the right choice? They will ask like many people before they actually can make a choice. They will find it harder to make decisions by themselves. Even if they make decisions, they will keep second guessing their decisions again and again, that did I do the right thing? Should I have done that? Etc. So there's a lot of doubt in the child's mind, because the child's confidence, which comes from the Manipur chakra, which is the ego center of a human being, was never bolstered. And in good parenting, you let the child make a choice. Even if they fail, you kind of explain to them, to analyze their decision, that why do you think it failed? What could you have done correctly? What could you have asked for help, or did you need to do more research, etc. So there's not so much like a punitive action to the choice that they make. Instead, it's more like an analytical response that the parent has, so that the next time the child makes a better informed decision and a better informed choice. But in families, what they do is, whenever the child makes a wrong choice, it's always like, I told you so. Or it's always like, I knew you were going to fail, something like that. Or you should have gone with my choice, something of that nature. And what that does is, it makes the child always think that, oh, I'm going to make the wrong choice. So they don't have a lot of confidence around the choices that they make. And similarly goes for the shaping up of their whole personality. So it's like a child who has been told since childhood that we only we only like Ivy League schools. If you don't go to an Ivy League, you're a failure. So this might not be said like so directly, but it's subtly said through the behavior. If you don't score well in academics, I will consider you a failure. Something of that sort. If you don't make enough money, I consider you a failure. So the child's personality is completely enmeshed in all of these thoughts that are put inside them again and again. So the child doesn't really have a room to explore who they actually are. So this is called as enmeshment, where an individual is really not aware of who they are. They are just like a collection of ideas that they have received from their surroundings, and they think that this is who I am. They don't know who they are. And what is enmeshment trauma? So enmeshment trauma is when you are kind of trying to individuate from this group, whoever defined who you are. Um it's it's traumatic, because it's like you don't know who you are, and now it's kind of like you're pulling apart pieces of your flesh, from this other creature that you were connected to. So obviously it's going to be painful for the person who's trying to individuate, because they did not do it when the age was correct. When their ego was being formed, they were not allowed to do that, and now maybe after they grow up, they're trying to do that. So it's going to be painful, because it's a trauma. You don't know if this idea came from you, or it came from your parent, or where did it come from. You don't know that. So that is enmeshment trauma. And how do you get over it? So to get over it, you really have to own up to your own decisions, to your own personality, to your own eccentricities, to your own quirks, to your own bad habits, everything you have, everything you are currently, you have to own up to all of it. You have to say, all of this is me. All my good habits, all my bad habits, all my terrible habits, all of it is me. And I'm okay with that. So once you start owning up yourself, you will realize that your parents never really saw you for who you were. They were just trying to make you into who they wanted you to be, or the group that you belong to. They wanted you to be who they wanted you to be. So you kind of have to start owning up to who you are, and you have to start exploring yourself, like what do you like, what do you dislike. Do you really want to go to an Ivy League school? Do you really want to earn a lot of money? What is it that brings you real joy in life? um, Things like that. So you really have to start the process of self discovery, and that would be the start to the end of your enmeshment trauma. So that was this video. I hope this helps you in some way, and as always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.